Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic Vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, first of all, there's so much good news in the new year because you're going to see the biggest tax refund season of all time. The big beautiful bill was passed in July. You know, the IRS didn't have time to change all the forms, and so now everybody's going to get huge tax refunds if they were overtime workers, if they're seniors, if they had tip income. All those things are going to be refunded, those taxes this year when they file for their taxes. And then the other thing is that we've got lots of great new ideas that we're going to put before the American people this year to make their lives better. The president mentioned in his economic speech from over here at the White House that we've got everybody in the whole cabinet working on trying to get housing to be more affordable. We're going to have a big plan to announce sometime soon in the new year that's going to be really good news for the American people who feel like it's just not affordable to buy a home anymore. Don't forget that under Joe Biden, the average mortgage payment for the typical middle-class family who are buying for the first time a home went up by $14,000 a year. $14,000 a year because of inflation and higher interest rates. And we've got a plan that's going to make that go almost completely in reverse. Already, we've reduced that monthly mortgage payment by $3,000.
And that would be welcome news, my friend. That was, of course, Kevin Hastert. He is the head of the White House Economic Council on all of the good things, a Christmas present, if you will, to you coming in the new year from the Trump administration. Welcome, my friends, to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. This, our final show of the year, 2025. So thank you for being with us here. What's coming up on today's show? Today, one of my dear, dear friends, Ed Shea, who is just one of the most amazing musicians on the planet with track record and more importantly, dear friend, we're going to talk about one of I think we both hold him in such high esteem. Today is the anniversary of Tom Bell's death, and we will talk about that near the bottom of the hour. Welcome. Today we also had another death in the rock and roll category, and that he's not as well known. I never thought he was as famous as he should be because he's such a great songwriter, and such a great musician. And that Christopher Rea passed away today. You might remember the song from 1978, Fool If You Think It's Over. That was Chris Rea, and he passed away today. Today is also the anniversary of Joe Cocker passing away. You know, again, I mean, you are so beautiful. I mean, who doesn't remember and love that song? Okay, so on the policy front, we have continuations of stories that are just, I guess, from last week, from the week before. One of them being the Epstein stuff that will not go away. Those of you who listen regularly know how disgusted, tired I am of this Epstein story. If I don't hear the name Jeffrey Epstein again, it would be too soon. But since all the documents were not released, there are conniption fits being had. One of the conniption fits, well, you've got two. You have this renegade Republican, Thomas Massie, and Ro Kahana. Now, Massey was on Face the Nation yesterday, and Kahana was on that PMS, whatever we call ourselves now channel. MS 13 now, MS 100 now. Oh, by the way, there's a big stink over CBS. Barry Weiss running CBS. I love you. I don't know you, Barry, but I love you. You are doing some things, and there is much gnashing of teeth over them. I'll get to that. Okay, first, let's do this in order, Kev, please. Cut 4, Mr. Massey, followed quickly by cut 3 from PMS, whatever they are, with Ro Kahana. Here is Thomas Massey.
What are you going to do about it to force them to comply? I mean, can you do anything?
Oh, absolutely. Look, people have talked about, and by the way, Todd Blanche is the face of this, but it's really the Attorney General's office, Pam Bondi, who is responsible. And there are several ways to get at this. Some take longer, some are shorter. The quickest way, and I think the most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi. And that doesn't require going through the courts. And give her, and basically, Ro Kahana and I are talking about and drafting that right now.
I hear you talk about inherent contempt or impeachment. I mean, these are words that Democrats have been really careful not to throw around, especially the impeachment word. It's come up a few times, and you've seen leadership walk it back. Why is this time different? And do you have the backing of Democratic leadership to actually push forward with impeachment if it comes to that? Is that the next step when we come back in January?
It's different because it's coming from Republicans, too. If it was just me out there or Robert Garcia out there, it would be seen as, okay, as this is just a Democratic thing. This is going to be Thomas Massey leading it. There are a few Republicans who are on board with it, but we're not going straight to impeachment. We're starting with contempt, and the idea would be that she'd get a 30-day grace period. By the way, she's already in violation of the law. 30-day grace period to get the documents out.
30-day grace for the sergeant at arms detaining and arresting her? Because that's what it is.
Well, it would be a fine. A fine of up to $5,000 each day she doesn't get these documents out. My goal is not to destroy Pam Bondi. I didn't even know who Pam Bondi was. I've gotten to know these survivors, and my goal is that on a personal level, these documents need to come out. They lives were traumatized. They want these documents out, and whatever we can do to get the documents out.
Yeah, okay, whatever they can do to get the documents out. Fine. The documents are being staggered in release. There are complaints coming in, by the way. Story today in the Daily BS. Epstein victims flatly accuse DOJ of breaking the law, not protecting their identities with release. You've got hundreds of thousands of documents, and they're trying to release them. And I don't know who they think is supposed to be doing all the redactions and everything necessary. Okay, fine. Anyway, that's the Epstein news. Democrats are having a... Bill Clinton, by the way, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, it's a tabloid. You have to take what you read with a grain. But supposedly Bill Clinton is a little bit ticked off. He's demanding all the files be released, and some spokesperson, whatever, we have nothing to fear from what... I can't care less. Anyway, whatever. For the Epstein junkies out here, there's your Epstein fix. I'm moving on. So tired of this Epstein stuff. I'm sorry. But I know they're victims. I've never said I don't care about them. Tired of the whole story. People didn't care about this the whole time Joe Biden was in office. You didn't care one thing about Epstein. Now all of a sudden it's got to be front news every freaking day. Enough already. Oh, by the way, Democrats are threatening another shutdown in January. Merry Christmas. Hope you have happy holidays. They're going to shut the government down. They want, what is it this time? Oh, yeah. Trump wants to dismantle the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado. Do you really care? Do you even know if I said to you, what's in Boulder, Colorado that the federal government has a stake in? How many of you will say, oh, I know. It's the Atmospheric Research Center. How dare Donald Trump So now Democrats want to shut down your government once again because Donald Trump is realigning things over at the atmospheric research. You know what really they're ticked at? They're ticked at the global warming hoax. All of the slush fund that's been in this global warming scam for all these years is coming apart. That's what they're annoyed at. And I think this is part of that. In fact, Cut 5 didn't intend to get this in the first segment, but since we're on it, we have an energy secretary. And apparently he's actually doing his job. His name is Chris Wright. And this is Chris Wright on one of the Sunday shows over the weekend talking about energy.
So what's the announcement this morning?
So my Department of Energy has announced we're going to return over $13 billion to the taxpayers. That's over $100 per American family. This was money passed and slated to be energy subsidies. But we need the subsidies have been corrosive because they've not only cost taxpayer money, but then they've led to more expensive electricity bills. We lose twice. So we're doing everything we can in the Trump administration to stop the rise in energy prices.
So money that was going to go to green energy, to subsidize green energy, is instead going back to the Treasury?
Yes.
So I thought that green energy was going to be like an all of the above, like a part of the energy dominance platform. Is this take it off the table? What's going on?
With green energy, and again, I don't agree with the name, but with solar and wind and electric vehicles, which is where most of the money has gone, they've just barely gotten to 3% of United States energy and 2.5% of global energy. So it's just been a massive malinvestment. We've made electricity more expensive. We've pushed industries and jobs out of our country, haven't moved the needle on global greenhouse gas emissions. It has been, as the president said, I think he rightfully characterizes it as a scam.
A scam. 3% of all energy comes from electric, solar, whatever. And meanwhile, your electricity bills have been rising because of it. Make that make sense, James. Okay, guess what? When you plug in your nice green electric car, you're plugging it into what? You're plugging it into your power plant. What is used to get power to your power plant? The same stuff we've been using. Fossil fuels. Your power plant can't power your life on windmills. And in order to have your electric green car, you need fossil fuel. So it has been an entire scam from day one. And Donald Trump and this administration, $13 billion they put for subsidies for people to buy this stuff, so they're getting rid of it. Good. All right, immigration's in the news. We'll move to that. Also, Fulton County, folks, we got to take a break. What happened in Fulton County in 2020 is coming back to bite. It is not getting the headlines that it deserves. Democrats and Republicans in Georgia that were in charge and are downplaying the significance of the story, but it's still out there. And it may, Princess Diana said over the weekend that this is going to have big repercussions. We shall see. James Golden, Snerdley.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank and NA or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees-info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secured Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
How does PwC take your company to the leading edge? They bring the sharpest minds in tech to your team, so you can bring the ideas that will transform your business. They're passionate about your industry, so you can walk into any room with every advantage. And they're with you every step of the way, so you can know you're headed in the right direction. PwC builds for what's next, so you can get there now. Get started at pwc.com/us/leading edge.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden Snerdley. Now, in Georgia, I mentioned this Fulton County admission that unsigned voting tabulation happened brings the spotlight back on them. So for almost all of the early voting that took place, the tapes that are supposed to be signed off on were not. The recorded tapes. Now, that has led some people to say, rightly so, this is a serious violation of rules. In fact, one of the board members said, look, this could just be lazy or it could be something really egregious. But not surprisingly, the Republicans that run the place are saying, oh, it's just a clerical error. Don't mention it. What it points to is that the rules weren't followed, that election should not have been certified. It also points to the fact that people that were questioning the election results in Fulton County, and the tapes, by the way, are not the only thing they're alleging. Some of the polling places, it turns out, were open till 2 a.m. What sense does that make? It makes none. Now, again, elected Republicans down there and Democrats in the press are trying to play this off. Oh, it's just a clerical error. It is not just a clerical error, folks. Why have rules if the rules aren't necessary? All right, we're coming back. James Golden, Snerdley with you here. Fastest hour in American media will continue. Whatever you do, stay here and don't go away, please.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
A message from McAfee.
I'd say howdy, but I'm not a real cowboy.
And I'm not a real alien.
We're deep fakes, and because of fakes like us,
it's hard to tell what's real.
Unless you have McAfee. McAfee's scam detector automatically identifies text and email scams.
And even deep fakes.
And it works everywhere, even out on the range.
Yeehaw! But you're not even a real cowboy.
If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
This episode is brought to you by Ulta Beauty. Holiday cheer is here, and Ulta Beauty has gifts for everyone on your list. Treat them to fan-favorite gift sets from Charlotte Tilbury and Peach and Lily. Go all out with timeless fragrances from YSL, Ariana Grande, and Carolina Herrera. And you can never go wrong with an Ulta Beauty gift card. Head to Ulta Beauty for gifts that make the holidays brighter and even more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
With me to discuss this man is my dear, dear friend, Ed Shea. Welcome, Ed. How are you?
James, my God, I'm doing your last broadcast of the year, and I did your first video podcast, so I'm like the bookends in your life there. I'm doing great. And 3 years ago today, we lost one of the greatest R&B record producers, arrangers in the world. You know, I remember getting the call. I was in Costa Mesa, and I was working Johnny Mathis, and I got that email from a friend of mine saying that Tom passed away. And James, I know I tried to hook you up with him. He's an enigma. To this day, I don't know what he died of. All it says in his obituary or his Wikipedia page is after a lengthy illness. But I'm going to repeat myself, what I have said to you over the years. One of the kindest, most gracious, loving man you would ever want to meet. And he could write tunes. He told me, and again, I mentioned he used to call me Mr. O'Shea. He says, I could write tunes like you were writing a postcard. He just had this gift of writing these beautiful lyrics. And I just heard the great string writing that he did, the great orchestrations using oboe, English horns, French horns, and in the percussion, my world, you know, the vibes and the marimba. It was just exquisite. And it is to this day. I still get goosebumps. And I don't know if we'll ever reach that level of R&B that we knew, you know, getting back to the Delphonics.
He changed everything. He
sure did.
It wasn't just the arrangements. And by the way, this went beyond R&B because all of these, so many of his records crossed, as we used to say, crossed over. I hated that term then. I don't like it too much now. But they became hits internationally, worldwide, across the board, great music. But he changed the production of it, the sound, and people that are not in the industry, that don't have it, don't understand how that was. The sound. He paid attention to detail to everything he touched. The arrangements were beautiful and sophisticated.
Yeah.
Everything he touched had a beauty to it.
Absolutely, James. And you know, at one time we were going to do a lot of his hits with the Philadelphia Orchestra. We were going to do the best of Tom Bell, like a pop series with the orchestra. And when the orchestra committee would not let Tom bring in his guys, meaning me and Charles Collins and Bobby Eli and Larry Washington, he said, no, not doing it. He refused to do something as absolutely tremendous as the Philly Orchestra because he wanted to bring in his team. And again, I told you in another interview, I remember Tom flying me out to L.A. to work with James Ingram to play the tune at the end of City Slickers. And when I got to L.A. again, there was Charles Collins, you know, the guys. He was a very loyal guy. And yes, he was in the detail, but I'll tell you why he was in the details with orchestrations. He would inquire. He says, Ed, does this work on marimba? Is this okay? Does this work on timpani? And he would say the same thing with to Charles Collins. You know, is this part working? So he was a student, you know, a lifetime student like we all are in the arts. It never ends. It's a constant, you know, uphill battle, sort of always trying to perfect. But he was just a beautiful orchestrator. And again, I told you over the years, he was known as the Black Burt Bacharach. And Burt took great attention listening to Tom, and Tom with Burt, you know, with the time changes, they were very intricate. But as a listener, you would never know it. You would never know it. It's like I say, I think it's a lost art. I'm really not into what's happening today. I did hear some Bruno Mars stuff that I really love, but Tom, end of an era, James, end of an era with that style of writing, you know, where you're using a harp, a full string section, French horns, oboe, English horn, bassoon, and still as one person used to say, it was R&B wearing a bow tie with Tom. Very sophisticated and just easy on the ear. Let's put it this way. Easy on the ear.
I had the pleasure of meeting him once, and I have other friends like you who you worked with him. I have other friends who met him and know him, and the stories are just amazing that come from everybody that was connected with he, and also I just want to mention his co-writer for his stage there, Linda Creed, who was just also a phenomenal human being.
Absolutely wonderful. And with all, the stylistics and everything that we associate with Tom Bell, I mean, we did other great albums. We worked with the Temptations. We worked with Phyllis Hyman. We worked with Gatto Barbieri, which was an absolute disaster because we did 3 days of recordings with Gatto, and everything that Tom wanted up-tempo, Gatto wanted as a ballad. The ballads, Gatto, so it was sort of a mismatch. I'm sure those 8 or 9 cuts are still in a can somewhere in Philadelphia. But yeah, we work, and again, we work with the Silvers and Loretta Lynn. We did a great ballad that's on that Fish That Saved Pittsburgh album with Loretta Lynn, and I think it was either Teddy Pendergast. The list goes on and on what Tom has achieved over the years. And again, always under the radar, never boasting or bragging. When I was at his home in Bellingham, you wouldn't even know that this man was in the music business. There wasn't an award. There wasn't even a piano in his living room. He was an enigma. He was a mystery. He really was, but a great human being. And musically, I can't say enough about the man. And I mentioned to you before, Tom would pay all the rhythm section guys. We would get double scale. So we would work, if we did like 4 days of Lou Rawls, we would do like 10 to 1, 2 to 5, and then 7 to 10 or 6 to 9. And we got double scale for that. And if I would have to leave early to go to Atlantic City to work a showroom, he was okay with it. I would come in the next morning and overdub what I missed later in that day. So he was a very kind, a lot of leaders want to do that, James. It's like, you're booked for this 9 hours or whatever. You can't leave. And I couldn't stay for the day because some of the leaders that I worked for in Atlantic City in the showroom wouldn't let me take off for an evening show. So Tom was gracious enough to say, do your thing. We'll overdub you in the morning the next day. And, so we would spend, 3 hours. Maybe we would do 2 or 3 tunes within the 3 hours, overdubbing, percussion, Bobby Eli on rhythm guitar, Larry Washington maybe on congas and then bongos. So it was a process, but it was a lot of fun and no anxiety. Nothing at all.
Just love it.
Yeah. So,
well, the great Tom Bell, ladies and gentlemen, passed away from us on this day in 2022. As
right,
you said. And one thing I would like to I'm just going to throw this out here. Maybe this idea, because I never knew about the Philly story till you just said it about the orchestra. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have an orchestra somewhere. It doesn't have to be Philly, but actually do the tribute album for Tom Bell. Oh,
it would be phenomenal. It would.
Let's talk about how to make that happen. Let's talk about how to make that happen.
You would have to get a producer, and good arrangers. Now, James, a couple weeks ago, you played Billy Paul, Me and Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
And I listened to that sax solo. That sax solo is a guy by the name of Jack Faith. And Jack did a lot of the Tom Bell sessions. And Jack did some arrangements for Johnny Mathis. He did 2 of the Johnny Mathis albums that were cut in Philadelphia. But I can remember you talking about Billy Paul a couple weeks ago. And there were so many unsung heroes in that Philadelphia scene. Of course, we all know about the Wrecking Crew, Hal Blaine and all the guys. Yep. But I told you once before, I always thought that Philadelphia took a backseat to Muscle Shoals and, Motown, of course. And again, all great cities producing great music. But the Philly sound was
the Philly sound was a worldwide sound, and it needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
What happened in Philadelphia changed the music world, and it needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah. Now,
that's all.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I told you before, Tom really hooked up with Gamble and Huff. He was working at a record label called Cameo Parkway, which was, Bobby Rydell and Dee Dee Sharp. If you remember the Locomotion and the Mashed Potato, all those records, from the day. And, Tom wound up conducting on the road for Chubby Checker. And then eventually, he got that hit with the Delphonics, which, you'll hear in movies, and Quentin Tarantino movie, I hear it with Nicolas Cage singing it. It's universal, and like you said, it's worldwide. It's one language. You could be, in China or Japan, and you're still going to get goosebumps hearing these beautiful string intros. And Bobby Eli used to say Tom Bell was the king of the intros. His intros were like magnificent. That you would think you were listening to a John Williams film score soundtrack, how he had those strings. And I also told you before, James, here was a guy that was not, they didn't let him into the Philadelphia Musical Academy. They said he didn't qualify. And I always remember him saying, Mr. O'Shea, I could buy that building now, but without any malice. He found it funny, but he learned from dealing with the guys. Does this work? Reading orchestration books, things like that.
And I'm sorry I have to cut you short, but I have some things I just got to get to this commercial break.
No problem,
I just
James.
love it. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your memories of the great time. And we really do need to work on this project.
We will do that. And thanks for everything. Happy holidays to you and the family and all your listeners.
And happy holidays to you, my dear Ed. Thank you so much for playing.
All right, James. Be well, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thank you. James Golden Snerdley here with you. We're coming right back, folks. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, my friends, this puts the icing on the New York City cake this year. On January 1st, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Communist Vermont, Socialist Vermont, must be nice, will swear in his ideological mini-me, Zoran Mamdani, in New York City at the public ceremony. He's going to be sworn in by Bernie Sanders. Do you solemnly swear to take all of the money that you can from all of the rich people that you can, except for us, Democrats? Can you just and make sure that you hurt the oligarchs and do what you can to take care and destroy the landlords and capitalism in New York City? Do you solemnly swear that, Zoran? So, it ought to be, ladies and gentlemen, a sight worth beholding. Bernie Sanders to swear in Zoran Mamdani. I can't wait. And of course, after the swearing in, I want to know when all the free stuff is going to be rolled out. So, we have that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've arrived at the moment where it's time to wrap up another year for me. Mannheim Steamroller was one of Rush's favorite groups. And so for almost 30 years, well, not quite 30 because it didn't start right the first year or the second year, but almost for 30 years, we used to end the Rush Limbaugh show for the year with this song. Princess Diana and I spent some time on set. She has a wonderful piece. You can find it at Diana Me on X about Christmas without Rush, and she talked about that whole experience. You know, Rush was one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. And the generosity, too, of his audience was unsurpassed, raising millions and millions of dollars for leukemia research, which has helped save so many lives. Also for the families of America's warriors and law enforcement that were taken just an amazing legacy, an amazing life. And I have a lot to be thankful for, too. I mean, I'm here with you on WABC. WABC is in New York and also around the country, but WABC, for those of you that don't know my own background, is part of my heritage. It's where I met Rush. It's where I grew. My first job was at WWRL in New York, and then my second major break was at WABC, where I was the music director and their very first talk radio producer. And that led to a whole nother world. And thanks to the Cats and Matidis, John and Margot, I'm here today. And then, of course, they syndicated both the weekday show and the weekend show. But we have such a wonderful staff at WABC. And that includes all of the people in the control room, including today, Vinny's there. What is my young man's name over here? Because he was here the other day, and I didn't even... And Matt is here today. And Kevin, our program director, who is just, ladies and gentlemen, aside from being just a wonderful human being, an amazing guy, he's also a music aficionado that blows my mind with his knowledge. He's incredible. But it extends to all of our salespeople here, all the people that you never see, never hear, who all work together to make these shows that you love happen. And I am so grateful to all of them for their beautiful energy. And of course, I must be grateful to you. All of you who listen, who get in contact or don't, who call, who support those of us in this industry. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I've been in the radio business, in media. I walked into a radio station when I was 14 years old. And I knew that I wanted to be in this business at 14 years old. And God has blessed me so that my life I have spent doing what I love to do. And thank you, God. So, I'd like to just close out by wishing you all the very best in this coming year ahead. I'll be back on January 3rd, God willing. But may God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families, those you love. I will always have love and gratitude for each and every one of you, for being here with me, for allowing me to be with you. I wish you Godspeed, love, and peace this holiday season. Bye.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. All right.